Hello everyone, it's me, Hildr Shadowman here, and today we're diving back into the thrilling world of God of War 2018 to rank the Valkyrie boss battles. Now, before we jump in, I want to make one thing clear. I tackled this challenge on Give Me God of War difficulty. There was no fancy armor or no new game plus perks to make it easier. It's raw, it's tough, and it's how I get down. About 12 weeks ago, I embarked on a mission to conquer every Valkyrie without taking a single hit. And what started as a personal challenge quickly became one of my most popular videos. Thanks to all of you awesome viewers out there. Your support and requests inspired me to dive deeper into these battles, sharing my strategies, insights, and of course, ranking them based on their difficulty. Now a quick heads up, we're leaving Sigrun out of this one. We all know she's the ultimate challenge, but I want to focus on her sisters for this video. So, how are we ranking these Valkyrie showdowns? Well, we're looking at the challenge they pose, how long it took to master their moves, and of course, the sheer fun factor. But don't worry, fun won't sway the rankings. This is all about the hardcore battles. You'll find links to each of the battles in the top right hand corner, and a compilation of all fights in the description below. And hey, drop a comment letting me know which Valkyrie gave you the biggest headache. And don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, because it really helps the channel out, and new videos are going to be dropping soon, so you don't want to miss out on the action. Without further ado, let's do this. Starting with Valkyrie ranking number 8, Hildr. Now picture this, you step into Niflheim, a realm draped in poisonous fog. This is one of the trickier realms to navigate because if you're not getting lost in the map, desperately fighting for your life, trying to avoid being jumped, then you're slowly getting poisoned to death. Almost like you're working in an office job, battling Excel 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. Please save me from this fate. But fear not, because despite the toxic surroundings, Hildr is surprisingly one of the easier Valkyries to take down. She's got a measly 6 bars of health, which basically means she's begging to be taken down. But let's talk about tactics. I like to open up with a well-timed runic attack because that's a massive chunk of her health gone right there. Plus, Hildr's moves are as predictable as Monday morning blues. Just a sidestep here, a little dodge roll there, and you've pretty much got all of her moves down. It's great because if you're like me, it allows for an aggressive, damage-heavy playstyle due to all of the punishable openings she has. Speaking of dodging her attacks, some of them make you feel like you're prime Mike Tyson when you weave and bop some of her moves. Exhibit A. Her signature attack is just her shooting ice blocks at you from the other side of the arena, which you can just block and then dodge roll out at the last minute. And once again, you can punish her after this attack. To beat her, all you need to do is keep your cool, wait for those openings, and then bam, hit her with a Wrath of Sparta and potentially chuck the boy at her. Despite being easy, there's a real kick in the teeth if you die. You're back to square one of the maze, and let me tell you, doing a no damage run, it's a one-way ticket to frustration. So, what's the final verdict? Well, challenge level, it's a 3 out of 10. Learning her moves took me about 10 minutes tops. Perfecting the fight, it was another 3 out of 10. I mean, it took me 6 tries. But hey, it was a blast, besides the whole starting over from the beginning.
Freedom.
Yes, you are free now.
Next up is Valkyrie number 7, Kara. She's located just vibes in the heart of Midgard, where almost all of the story goes down. Despite being in the center location of the story, she is by no means the most thrilling, earning her placement at number 7. Now this is a controversial placement because Kara herself is not a difficult Valkyrie to beat. However, to perfect the fight is another matter entirely. Her moveset is pretty basic. Generic ring slashes that can be blocked continuously, a scythe attack that you can choose to block, but there is absolutely zero repercussions if you dodge, and there are 0 follow-up moves, making it one of the easiest moves to defend against. And you can choose to punish here, but if you're going for the perfect run, it's better safe than sorry. Don't worry, the comments cook me for not playing more aggressively, as you can see in the screenshots here. She also has a habit of throwing random discs at you, but once again, these are easy to block and even easier to deal with. But here's the kicker, she loves to summon minions. Now, they're not the scariest bunch alone, but dealing with them while keeping an eye on Kara, That's where the real challenge kicks in, especially with God of War's camera angles trying to throw you through a loop. But fear not, once you've got the hang of it, it's all about slamming those runic attacks to tip the scales in your favour. And once you've drained Kara's health bar, it's just a game of endurance. With only 6 bars of health, she's not the toughest nut to crack, to be honest. If you're not aiming for perfection, you will likely have her beat within the first few tries, no matter the difficulty setting you're playing on. So what's the final verdict? Challenge level, a 3 out of 10. Learning her moves took me about 10 minutes tops. Perfecting the fight, another 3 out of 10. Took me about 7 tries to nail it. And hey, if you're in for some laughs and spamming attacks, Kara's Showdown is definitely a blast. Just remember to keep your wits about you, and most importantly, have some fun.
Freedom.
Alright, ladies and gents, moving on, we've got to talk about our girl Gunnr. Coming in at everything Liddy, I love when it's hot. Number 6 in Midgard. Now, in the fanbase, she's often dubbed as the easy one, the warm-up act for the Valkyrie Showdown. But let me tell you, she's got a few surprises up her sleeve. First off, she's got 8 health bars, 2 more than her sisters. So yeah, surviving this fight is going to take some serious endurance. But here's the kicker. Gunnr's almost like the Valkyrie crash course. She's packing an upgraded moveset, giving you a taste of what's to come with all the winged warriors. More moves mean more dodges, blocks, and tactical maneuvers to master. Her moves, they're familiar territory if you've already tangled with Kara. There's that scythe dive attack, easy to dodge, you've probably got the rhythm down by now. And don't forget about her spinning scythe pump. Just block and counter with ease. But there is more. She's throwing in some wing slashes to keep you on your toes. And up close, get ready for a deadly wing stab. This is unblockable, so you better sidestep like a pro if you want to avoid getting skewered. Now, dodging backwards is not reliable, my friends, especially if you're aiming for that perfect run. As someone who was burned more than once, you've just got to dance to the right to dodge that wing stab. But once you've got a move down, you're golden. I rank that at number 6 because she's all about that close combat, demanding quick reflexes and separating the Valkyrie pros from the amateurs. But hey, if you're into that aggressive playstyle, Gunnr's Showdown is a blast. Get in there, punish regularly, and watch those 8 health bars drop. So, what's the final verdict? Challenge level, 4 out of 10. Took me about 20 minutes to learn all of her moves, but perfecting the fight was a solid 5 or 6 out of 10. It took me about 10 tries to nail it perfectly, but once again, if you love getting in there and dishing out punishment, Gunnr's the woman for you. So get in there and show Gunnr who's boss.
Freedom! Cursed no longer! A joyous day indeed!
Next up on our Valkyrie hit list is Valkyrie number 5, Rota, the icy queen of Helheim. Now why I said her name like that, I do not know. I'm learning Spanish and I'm practicing rolling my R's. But moving on, Rota's the gatekeeper between the mid-tier and the top dogs. And let me tell you, she is no pushover. This is where the difficulty spikes up. Also holding an impressive 8 bars of health and an extensive moveset, she really picks up the speed and makes players focus on their reaction times as well as learning her moveset. She usually opens up with a dive into the sky, and if it lands, there's no easy way to say this, but you're fucked. You miss the dodge and you're in for a world of hurt as she stomps on your face. Mash the circle button like your life depends on it to throw her off you, because it kind of does. And if you manage to escape her foot of doom, she is not done yet. She'll back off and come at you with a lightning fast stab that you cannot block. She's trying to leave with something, and that something is your life. But hey, here's a tip. Whenever she's throwing those unblockable attacks with her right wing, you need to be dodging to your right because it's game over. As I said before, dodging backwards is not consistent enough to use it as a gaming strategy, and dodging into the left, well, you're just dodging into her wing. She can take to the air multiple ways, and she can do the diving wing attack when she grabs your face and smashes you into the floor, which, trust me, is not pleasant, or she can throw flying discs at you. Both of these are easy to avoid if you're prepared for them to come. For the former, all we need to do is dodge to the right or the left in any direction, and it's pretty well telegraphed. So you don't have a lot to do, and the latter, all you need to do is chuck your shields up, defend, relax, and you'll be fine. The interesting thing about the move I mentioned before, she dives into the sky, is that it can actually be repeated multiple times. So she can choose to only come down once, but she can also choose to jump up again and repeat this 2 to 3 times. So you really do actually need to react to what is happening as opposed to trying to memorize her movesets. It is great because she does shout Valhalla every time she does this. And that had me shouting that for weeks for absolutely no reason. When she's getting low on health, she can get funky with the combinations of some of her moves. She can start doing them in any order. So once again, you need to react as opposed to trying to learn them. This is what combat games are all about for me personally. Not all memorization, the perfect balance between memorization and pure reaction speed. Now, what's my advice? Go into this fight ready to react and ready to have fun. It's all about staying in the moment, not trying to outsmart her like some kind of chess master. So what's my final verdict? Challenge level, it's a 5 out of 10. It took me about 20 minutes to learn her moves, but perfecting the fight, a solid 7 out of 10. It took me about 17 tries to nail it, and let me tell you, it was a blast. If you're into that reactionary combat style, this one's for you. So get in there, dodge like your life depends on it, and show Rota who is boss.
You have freed me from my corrupted form. You have my eternal gratitude.
We are finally into the top 4. So we are diving into the fray with Olrun, nestled snugly in the realm of Alfheim. Now Olrun might raise some eyebrows with her health bar sitting at a modest 7. But let me tell you, health isn't the only game in town when it comes to difficulty. This boss is all about speed and agility, darting around the arena like a whirlwind. And let me tell you, that tie space, it's a part of her strategy. She's a master at slipping out of your camera's view, forcing you to stay sharp and react on the fly. Olrun's not just a close combat kind of gal, she's got range too. And those feathered spins she throws at you, block them if you can, but watch out, because she might just be using it as a setup for her deadly dive attack. And trust me, you don't want her standing on business, aka your face. What sets Olrun apart is her mix-up game. She's got a bag of tricks, switching them up on the fly. One moment she's pelting you with her feathers, and next she's diving in for a wind jab. The key? Stay on your toes, but punish her every chance you get. Now, one of her sneakiest moves, that spinning vortex that sucks you in. It's tricky to spot, but once you're onto it, you'll be ready for whatever she throws next. I'll be honest, it took me a good hour to get a real good handle on her moves, but perfecting the fight, that was a solid 8 out of 10 on the difficulty scale. It took me about 38 tries to emerge victorious. But you know what? Despite the challenge, Olrun's a blast to fight. The speed, the intensity, it will keep you on the edge of the seat. And having Atreus by you on your side, that is the real game changer. So, what's the final score? The challenge was a 7 out of 10. The learning curve, it took me about an hour. Perfecting it was an 8 out of 10. But trust me, it's worth it for the adrenaline rush. Dive into the fray, punish like there's no tomorrow, and show Olrun who puts the god in God of War.
Thank you for releasing my physical form. I have only gratitude.
On to the 3rd place podium finish. The flame mistress of Muspelheim, after my own heart, Gondul. Now, Gondul and our number 2 spot, stay tuned for that reveal, could honestly swap places on this list any day of the week. But based on the sheer difficulty it took me to conquer the number 2 spot, Gondul unfortunately lands herself here at number 3. Now, a bit of backstory. Gondul was actually the first Valkyrie I challenged in my quest for perfection. Maybe it's because I hadn't worn myself out on the other Valkyries with countless retries, but the initial encounter really did make this quest seem manageable. But don't let that fool you. Gondul is no pushover. With her hefty 7 health bars, you know you're in for a marathon of a battle, and her moveset is a whole different beast. Not only does she throw the usual Valkyrie arsenal, but she spices things up with elemental damage. dodge the wrong way and you're going to find yourself roasting on the flames that have been chucked on the floor. Talk about adding insult to injury and making an even harder run even harder. Take, for example, a fiery wall summoning, followed by a swift wing stab. Keeping track of all of that chaos and dodging accordingly, honestly, I really want to say I hated it, but it's a challenge I relished, even if it did left me burned more than once. But what really sets Gondul apart is her double mace attack. First you gotta roll to dodge the initial blinding blow, then it's about weaving through the second swing for the sweet counter. She's not shy about ranged attacks either with her pesky feather barrage. Block it or dodge it, it's up to you, it doesn't really matter. But here's the kicker. When she starts combining these attacks, that's when things get really spicy. Summoning flames, leaping into the air, it's all about timing that dodge just right to avoid getting stomped on. And let's not forget her sky spin move. It is an unblockable and blinding attack. It's a nightmare to dodge. Your best bet, you can run to the end of the arena, but I don't recommend it. The best move is to actually interrupt her charge up with a well-aimed axe throw. So, what's the final score? In terms of challenge level, it was a solid 8 out of 10. It took me about an hour to just learn her moves. Affecting the fight, a grueling 7.5 out of 10 difficulty, and it took me about 40 tries to master. But you know what? Despite the challenge, Gondul's a blast to fight. It's all about the adrenaline rush, the split-second decision making. So dive in, stay sharp, and show Gondul who really brings the heat to Muspelheim.
Freedom.
Freedom?
You have destroyed my physical form. I have nothing to give but my gratitude.
We've reached the penultimate challenge, folks. And let me tell you, this one is a doozy. Second on our list, but first in terms of sheer difficulty, is Geirdriful, reigning in Midgard. Now, don't let her 6 health bars fool you. She's a beast that will have you sweating bullets. I was stuck in the trenches with her for what felt like an eternity. Now, looking back, I'm not quite sure why she gave me such a hard time. Most of her moves are pretty basic. They're telegraphed well enough for anyone with experience to be able to react to them with relative ease. And to be honest, there's nothing too crazy in her moveset. But, and here's the big but, there is one move, guys. One move that had me pulling my braids out. And that is the lightning fast dash into a wing stab. Blink and you'll miss it. Literally. It's like she teleports into your face, leaving you scrambling to reacting time. And let me tell you, it was more guesswork than strategy for me. And as a perfectionist, doing a perfection run in a combat game based on reaction, not being able to do this whenever I wanted really did annoy me. But hey, aside from that pesky dash move, other moves are manageable. Dodge some daggers, dodge some wing attacks, you know the drill, you'll be fine. So why did she snag the number 2 spot? Well, it's simple. She was just a pain in the ass for me personally to beat. So what's the final score? Challenge level, a whopping 9 out of 10. It took me a solid hour to just get the basic handle on her moves. Perfecting the fight, a grueling 9 out of 10 on difficulty, with around 55 recorded attempts before I emerged victorious. Now, was it fun? Well, let's just say it was more of a test of patience than anything else. Sure, there were moments of triumph, but the frustration of that lightning dash, let's just say it's something I don't want to relive anytime soon. But hey, luck was on my side during that perfect run, and sometimes you just gotta take what you can get. So here's to conquering Geirdriful, the Midgardian Mammoth, and gearing up for our final challenge.
Thank you. I am free.
And now, drum roll please. We arrive at the pinnacle of our Valkyrie showdown, Eir, the queen before the queen. Nestled in the heart of Midgard, Eir stands tall with an impressive 8 bars of health, signaling from the beginning, you are in for the long haul, so you better lock in. But what sets Eir apart is the battleground. It's the smallest ring amongst all of the Valkyries. It's a tight, confined space from the get-go, adding a claustrophobic twist to the challenge. She's relentless, starting with a heavy aerial scythe attack, but if you're playing it safe, you can opt to block instead of counter-attacking. But watch out, because she's quick. She quickly follows up with a wing assault, and then she throws in a blinding mace attack that fills the arena with chaos. Weaving and bopping becomes your best friend to avoid this onslaught and basically survive battling her at all. What truly makes Eir formidable is her mix of moves. Just when you think she's dodged one, she's already on to the next, like jumping into the air, threatening to obliterate the whole arena, and let me tell you, in that cramped space, there's nowhere to hide. You've got to stop her with a well-timed axe throw. The challenge here lies in the close quarters combat, leaving little room for punishment. It really is a battle of attrition, testing your endurance like it's never been tested before. But despite the struggle, I did find it incredibly enjoyable. It felt like a fair fight, even when faced with moves that seemed impossible to dodge without a stroke of luck. So what's the final score? The challenge level, a whopping 10 out of 10. It took me a solid 3 hours to just basically learn her moveset. Perfect in the fight? A grueling 10 out of 10 difficulty, with it taking 63 attempts before I actually did it. And you know what? Despite the challenge, it was actually incredibly fun. There's something about pushing yourself to the limits in games that's deeply satisfying. So here's to Eir, the ultimate test of skill, and to all the challenges that lie ahead in the world of gaming.
You have freed me.
So, we're here. The saddest part of every video. The conclusion. But here you have it, folks. I hope you enjoyed listening to my breakdown of the Valkyrie battles as much as I enjoyed making them. If you're gearing up to take them on yourself, take some of the advice I've shared and make your fights a bit more flashy. Look out for those key moments to counter-attack and always stay on your toes. If you manage to perfect any of these battles because of this video, drop me a comment down below, because I'd love to hear about your victories and how this guide helped you out. And if you just want to sit back and enjoy the fights in one go, click on the link in the description or in the top right hand corner of the video here. Now, in addition to the Valkyrie battles, I'm also diving into other games like TY the Tasmanian Tiger. So keep an eye out for my retrospectives, trademark, on that coming soon. And for more analysis of God of War, don't miss out my review of the Valhalla DLC, which is now in the top right hand screen. But wait, there's more. I've got an ambitious plan in the works, defeating every single boss in God of War Ragnarok without taking a single hit of damage. It's going to be one epic challenge, and I can't wait to share it with you all. For those interested in catching my live streams, be sure to drop me a follow on Twitch. I try to stream twice a week, and I'm always up for a chat or to answer any questions you might have. You can also hit me up on Twitter at @ETheShadowMan for more gaming discussions. Thank you for tuning in, fellow strugglers. As for now, I step back into the shadows. I'll catch you in the next video. Keep pushing past those limits. And as always, fellow strugglers, keep gaming.